Good morning, Colorado Springs. How you doing today? It is going to be warm. This is October 8th, 2019. It's going to be 80 degrees here. It's going to be warm, really warm today. Decent tomorrow, and like 35 on Thursday. Unbelievable, unbelievable. If you don't like the weather here, wait 5 minutes. Today I'm going to talk to you guys about friends. And I'm going to go back and talk to you about some of the friends that I've had and do have in my life today. And what influence they play, what kind of role they play in your life. Chip Bean I've known for probably close to 30 years, maybe a little bit more. Chip and I are church buddies, we're football buddies, we're bicycle riding buddies, and we have almost the entire time we've known each other. In fact, I met Chip 30 plus years ago riding with Willow on Wheels that he helped start at Willow Creek Community Church many years ago. And he is such a strong and powerful rider that I just kind of clung to him. Is that a word? Clung to him. I was drawn to Chip, as a bike rider because he was so strong. And then in '99 he had a terrible bicycle accident where he was in a coma for 10 days. And myself, my wife, and so many other people prayed him out of that coma, his wife. And he is healthy today as ever, and you would never know that 20 years ago he had a terrible accident and broken ribs, punctured lung, road rash all over his body, just a head injury. Doctors didn't know if he'd survive, and I'm happy to say, Chip, today, man, I love you as much today as I did 30 years ago. You're one of my best friends, and I love you deeply. And even though you're back in Illinois, I'm trying to get you out here to Colorado, and let's see what happens. But one of the other things that we've done a lot of is watch a lot of football, particularly the Bears games. He come over to my house on Sunday after church, and we'll watch a couple games, and then I go to his house on Monday night, and we've just built this strong bond together over the years. And men, it takes time. It takes each other getting out of our own way, and building relationships and diving into relationships with other men. Sometimes it's not easy, and I get it. It was easy with Chip. Every name I'm gonna reference today. It's been very easy to build relationships with these guys, and Chip and I have been friends for a long time, and I love you dearly, Chip. Phil Jasker, he's still back in Illinois. Phil and I had a working relationship for probably now over 30 years. We've done hundreds and hundreds of jobs together, maybe even more. We've hung tens of thousands of sheets of drywall together. We've remodeled basements and bathrooms and done room additions and roofs, and we've shared blood, sweat, and tears together, and occasionally a few beers. And Phil, I love you dearly, and we were drawn to each other almost immediately. Phil's 6 years or so younger than I am, and his dad died when he was young, and I've always kind of felt in my heart drawn to be kind of like a father figure, if nothing else, like an older brother figure to Phil. I love Phil deeply, and he and I would just crack up and tell jokes and go out to lunch and The relationship that we had back in Illinois, in particular, was very strong, very strong. And he's also a brother in the Lord, just like Chip. And that's something that has really drawn us and bonded us together. Ken Vigna, my neighbor behind me in Illinois. I've known Ken for about 30 years now. I helped him build his room addition back in '96. I took Ken to Promise Keepers that same year, I believe. They lived in our basement for a week or two while we had their house torn apart, the second floor, and it was hot in '96. We had one of the record heat waves that I can remember on record. And so him and his wife and 5 kids lived in our basement for our lower level for a week or two. And we had the air conditioning on, and it was super, super, super nice for them. And Ken and I have worked on cars together. We've gone on bike rides together, Baskin Robbins together with the wife and kid and our wife, my wife, his wife. We've done all the 4th of July parades, all the fireworks. I mean, probably every year for the 26 years that we lived as neighbors. And I love Ken dearly. Ken, I love you dearly. You're like a brother to me. And it's with a encouraging, warm heart that I say I hope someday you reach out and accept Jesus to be your friend, to be your personal Savior. I love you dearly. I love your family. I love your kids, your wife, everything that we've done over the years. We've watched a lot of football games. We watched all the Bulls games, all the championships, a lot of the playoffs. I mean, we have a very deep history. But men, it takes effort. It takes time. It takes the willingness to be vulnerable and to be open and to just share your life with each other. And Ken and I are definitely 2 men who have done that. We've shared our lives together. Ken Mergenthaler, hey guy, how you doing? He's an auto mechanic buddy of mine who's owned his own shop for 30-40 years. Him and his brothers ran it after his dad passed away many years ago. Ken and I, anytime I'd want to come over and use one of the bays or a lift to work on one of my vehicles, or I had questions or whatever, Ken was a guy I knew I could always count on. Never once. And I've known Ken for probably close to 40 years. I met him probably in 1977 when I was working concrete for Roy Clemens Concrete over in Palatine. And Ken provided a lot of the mechanical service and gas for that business. And Ken and I have played a lot of golf together, and we've built a history over many years of knowing each other, loving each other. Hey, how about all the Luke's beefs or Portillo's beefs, right? Right, guy? Hot and juicy. And, you know, guys, it takes time. It takes effort. It takes, you know, being vulnerable, being honest, you know, with one another. I just love Ken. Ken, I love you, man. Bob Nielsen and Ken are brother-in-laws, and so I've known Bob as long as I've known Ken. Bob is a master electrician. I've told this 100 times. He is the best electrician on the planet. The guy is smart. He can troubleshoot, and he's a ball buster. And Bob and I have shared meals together, a lot of work together. He's helped me on a lot of jobs when I was running my own business, and we've shared at least 1 or 2 Bears games together. And little shout out to his wife, Gail. Hey, Gailey, how you doing? And Bob, I just love you. Bob is just a great guy, and we've built a history together over the years. And men, it takes time. It takes effort. And all these friends that I've mentioned, I've never had to work hard at building a relationship with them. It's just come easy. Why? Because we were so like-minded, very like-minded. And Bob Nielsen is an awesome guy and would give the shirt off of his back to anybody who asked. And he's just a great guy. Hey Bob, I love you, man. Don Parenti, Dick Wagner, Dan Sellup. These are all guys that still go to Willow Creek, and we left Willow behind, many years ago, and we're out here in Colorado now. And Don Parenti I've known for many years, and he's got a very high-end custom millwork business, and he's been running forever now. He's the second generation, and they do really, really high-end stuff. Oprah Winfrey and Michael Jordan, and lawyers' offices, and everything downtown Chicago. I mean, just an amazing business and an amazing guy. And Dick Wagner, hey Wags, I just love these guys. Wagner's. We've been friends together. We do a lot of breakfast together, especially when I was living back home. We go out to Eclectic and get our usual. And these are guys that I've just built a history with, and we've all taken efforts to build into one another's lives, to spend time with one another. Dan Sellup is another good friend at Willow. He's been on staff at Willow for, I don't know, Dan, like 100 years? And he's just a great guy. He's a man of integrity, loves his wife, loves his kids. All these guys I mentioned, love their wives, love their kids. And we've all played a role and shared in one another's stories, their history, our history together. And it takes time. But these guys I mentioned, because I honor you men, I value our relationship, our friendship. And there's a saying that says, if you go through life and then you die and you have one or two relationships that are powerful, you're lucky. Well, I'm lucky because I have not just these guys, probably several more. I have Larry Scher. Larry and Chip and I go way back to the Willow on Wheels days, when we had a bicycle ministry for many, many years, serving people, serving families, serving single moms, going on camping trips, and going up to Door County and doing all these rides. And Larry's wife, Sue, her brother, had a place in Fish Creek that we would all stay for free, basically. And sometimes there'd be 15, 20, 30 people, and there'd only be a few of us in the house. Everybody else would bring their tents and sleep right outside, right next to the cherry orchard. Very, very deep, memorable memories. And it's built men over time, but it's not built unless you're willing to kind of open up and share a little bit of yourself. And so blessings to all you guys, blessings to your family. Know that I love you, and know that Jesus loves you and your families a million times more than I could ever love you. And as much as I try, when I get out of my way, when I get out of myself, I love you guys even deeper. And I can't say enough about our friendships. So men, be willing to open up, be willing to share, be willing to be vulnerable, be willing to be honest, and be a part of something bigger than you, and that's a friendship with other men. Blessings.